If you are anything like me, whenever you start a new process of change and transformation, your brain is going to lie to you. It's going to try to get you back to the safety of the old self. It's going to get you back to comfort and relief. Because to your brain, change feels dangerous, it feels uncomfortable, and sometimes just unsafe. It's going to ask you questions like, why don't you just give up? And it's going to remind you of the last 10 times you tried to lose weight and failed. And in that moment, when the brain is reminding me of the 10 times I've failed, and it's doing its best to convince me that I have the identity of a failure because of these 10 times that I failed, if I do not have a prepared answer, I might actually listen to it and I might actually believe it. So I've prepared some rebuttals and ways to turn potential failure into fuel. In this video, I will be sharing with you the answers I keep on standby for when giving up feels like the easiest thing to do. These answers are like fuel to me. I use them to get myself back on track, to remember my why, and to remind my brain and my body that this time I'm going to choose to love myself enough to keep moving forward. Let's start with one of the most common phrase and feeling my body throws at me whenever I start something new. It says something like, this doesn't feel right, or this feels uncomfortable. And the first thing I do is agree. I acknowledge that, yes, this doesn't feel right. And yes, this feels uncomfortable, but that's okay because we're doing something new. Then I go into the seed analogy and remind my body that, yes, this is uncomfortable, but maybe this discomfort has a purpose. It's dark, it's quiet like a seed, and yes, I'm feeling the discomfort or the weight of the soil on me, but the silence of the darkness is to listen for what direction I need to go. And the weight of the soil is going to stimulate my growth. So yes, it's uncomfortable and yes, it's discomfort, but that's okay because all of it has a purpose. And like a seed, I am not buried, but I have been intentionally planted. The other question that my brain and body like to throw at me, especially when I'm already feeling low or I'm beating myself up or I feel like I'm messed up, is why don't you just give up? It just straight outrightly asks, why don't you just give up? And how I like to answer that now is to just reply, I am not giving up because that's the only way I can fail. That's the only way I can lose. Because even when I mess up, if I've made any progress today, if I intended to drink 3 glasses of water and I drank only 2 glasses of water, that 2 glasses of water not only counts towards my progress, but that becomes part of the new identity. That becomes part of the new me. Eventually, that 2 glasses of water will turn into 3 to 4 to 5 to 8. And I am creating a new baseline of how many glasses of water I drink. I'm creating a new baseline of my identity. Danya is someone who drinks water. So why don't I give up? I will not give up because that's the only way I can fail. And as long as I'm making progress, I am moving forward. Another thing my brain likes to throw at me whenever I attempt to change or do anything new is, hey girl, remember those 10 other things, those 10 other times that you attempted to do and you failed? And remember how bad that felt? And in that moment, what it's doing is using a fear of failure to keep me safe from any pain I might feel if I were to fail again. And it's also using my failure as evidence that maybe I should stay the same, or as evidence that failure maybe is my identity. And to that, I like to reply, hey, I know I failed these 10 things, those 10 other times, but if you look over here, you will find 10 other things, 10 other times that I have achieved. So no, I do not have a failure identity. And yes, failure can be painful, but that's okay because failure also gives me feedback. This one time I failed, I learned my strengths, I learned my weaknesses. This other time I failed, I realized that I wanted to live my purpose. I didn't just want to make money or to make money to be rich. I wanted to do something that would not only help my life be better, but improve the life of other people around me. And more than that, whenever I failed, it showed I was willing to show up, take risk, to grow, to develop, to become more than I was. And that, my friend, is courage. And that is something to be proud of. One of the thoughts that has really rattled me in the past and really has cut me to the core is the thought that maybe you don't have what it takes, or maybe you are not cut out for this. And the reason that thought has been so powerful is not only does it talk about the potential failure of the goal, but it also speaks directly to my identity, my lack of ability, which then in turn affects my self confidence, my self worth, my self esteem. So it's like a triple threat. What I'm doing now when that thought comes up is I am reminding myself of people in history who I'm sure had every right and had every opportunity to listen and believe in that doubt, but instead they chose to do differently. People like Michael Jordan, who did not make his high school basketball team. In that moment, I sure he had a doubt that maybe I'm not cut out for this, but instead of believing and listening, he invested his time and energy and effort into practicing. And because of that, he became one of the greatest of all time basketball players. People like Walt Disney, this guy was fired from his newspaper for a lack of imagination. In that moment, he was facing doubt and he had every reason to believe that maybe he didn't have what it takes. But instead of doing that, he kept going. And had he not done that, we would not have television as we know it right now. So, whenever I'm faced with that similar thought of maybe you don't have what it takes, now I remind myself I can listen to that thought, or I can keep investing my time and energy and effort, keep growing, keep improving. And if I do that, maybe, just maybe, I also have the potential to be one of the greatest of all times. And finally, the most common, the most convincing, the most sneaky thought I deal with is just one more. For me, that looks like just one more cookie. If I'm in bed, it's just one more minute. If I'm on Instagram, it's just one more video. And in the past, I would tell myself, oh, it doesn't matter. It's a small action, but it does matter because it erodes my self-trust, it takes away from my productivity, and it adds to procrastination. How I deal with that now is I remind myself that all my choices matter, all my actions matter. And with my choices, I'm either investing into the future version of me, or I'm disinvesting from the future version of me. And whenever I'm making a action that's productive, that's healthy, that's loving to me, I'm adding momentum to the woman I'm becoming. And no, it will not always be easy to make the choice I need to make to become her, but it will always be worth it. So is this a 100% foolproof plan? And will I always find the will to make the right choice every single time? Absolutely not. But being aware of how my brain actively tries to sabotage my change does matter and helps me be more prepared to overcome myself. And every single time I overcome myself, I am building a new baseline for resilience and making it easier for me to move from success to success. The intention behind doing this video was to encourage you to become aware of how your brain actively tries to sabotage change, and to inspire you to be inspired to meet yourself fully when it matters the most. If you found any value in this video, please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, nothing changes until you change. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.